So happy to be here. We are so happy to be here with you. And we just started the recording. I jumped on too early, so I'm going to start again. So
wait. I'm not even on Facebook yet. You might want to just wait because it'll get interrupted.
I got the rosemary. I got the grapefruit. Like I'm jumping the gun.
You're ready. We're almost there.
I had my MetaPWR Advantage this morning.
You gotta wait for the go.
Now we're on Facebook. Take it away.
See how prepared I am for my day. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ariana Harley, and welcome to the Essential Wellness and Visionary Leaders Team Call. We are absolutely delighted to be with you this morning. And if you're listening to the replay, we are delighted to be with you now when you're listening. We are going to be starting the call off with some white grapefruit, which is our product of the month. If you aren't aware, if you order 125 PV before the 15th of the month, doTERRA is so generous and they give us a free product of the month, and that changes every month. This month, the month of January 2023, it is white grapefruit, which is not available otherwise. It's a special oil. So if you have that, go ahead and grab it. And if you don't have that yet, you can grab our pink grapefruit, or a citrus oil will work. And I'm just going to start off by inviting you to put both feet on the floor if you are in a safe position to do so. And we are going to just start a call by smelling our white grapefruit and getting into our bodies. I'm just going to do a really simple meditation and a quick meditation. So take a deep inhale and exhale, and then go ahead and drop a few drops into the palm of your hand, and you can rub your hands together. And we are going to take a deep inhale through the nose, super deep, and then let all the air out. It's even better if you make a little noise doing that, just a total release. You can even do a little sigh if you want to. And then again, a deep inhale. And exhale. And one last time, a deep inhale. And exhale. And just notice how you feel in your body. If there's any tension, you can open your eyes back up if you close them. And just notice if there's a difference between just when you started smelling the grapefruit, taking those breaths, and now. We can change our neurochemistry and our awareness in such a short amount of time with essential oils, with our breath, and with awareness, which is such a great tool. And I wanted to just tell you about grapefruit. If you're not aware, grapefruit's lovely to put in your water. So you can put that white grapefruit in your water. It will add a gentle detox. It's great for our brain. And grapefruit is also associated with honoring the body. And so if you don't have this book, I highly recommend it. It's the Essential Emotions book. We talk about it all the time. And grapefruit is phenomenal if you yourself, or if you're working with anyone who has any like body dysmorphia, any relationship of not wanting to be in the body, of judging the body harshly, of hating the body, of feeling underweight, overweight, of just being really critical with our body. And bringing grapefruit in helps detox the body, and it helps us to celebrate and just really rejoice in the gift that we have this body. Like, how amazing is that? I think in our culture, especially as someone who identifies as a woman, a female, a gender, this is a gorgeous oil for all of us to bring in love and acceptance. So I invite you to get your white grapefruit, use it, share in the chat what you noticed. Do you notice any difference between the pink grapefruit? And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pass the mic, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of our call.
Thank you.
Oh, and I do want to say one last thing. Yes, in the chat, Josie reminded us of this. I grabbed my rosemary. The white grapefruit is made from the pith, which is the peel of the grapefruit. It's not the juice. And so there are many people who can't use grapefruit because of medications, but the chemistry is going to be different with our essential oil. So of course, always check in with your doctor, but it has a different chemistry. So that's great to know. Okay, passing it back.
Okay, I'll take the call. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Aisha Harley, and it is an absolute pleasure to be with all of you today. I'm going to take just a little bit of time and share my story. And I have to admit that after presenting for almost 13 years now, I still get nervous. So last night, I wrote out a whole script and everything I wanted to say. And I'm just going to toss that to the wind and share from my heart. It's the reason I wrote out the script is because this is a very personal share. And of course, as I'm thinking about it all, a lot of anxiety is rising up and my heart is pounding and all of the things. So please bear with me. So I want to, for those of you that don't know me, I've been with doTERRA for 13 years. I was introduced to the essential oils by Arin. We met at a yoga studio, and my oil, the oil that really like opened me up to doTERRA, was actually Slim and Sassy. And at the time I had Lyme disease. I was very sick. I have a whole webinar about that story. I'm not going to go so much into that today. But Slim and Sassy was the oil that was actually a life changer for me. So today I'm going to talk about my experience with MetaPWR, which is really exciting because it is actually the reformulation of Slim and Sassy. And so, of course, it has just really been like this whole next level of healing and of kind of like an evolution. So I'm going to go back to the year 2020. I'm sure that all of us could get on this call right now and talk about what has happened in our lives since 2020. Can you relate to that? So my story might not be, you know, really all that special or different. You might be able to relate to a lot of things that I've been through, but I was really, really excited for the year 2020 because one, I was going to turn 50. I turned 50 in 2020 in February. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. It's 2020. I'm going to be 50 years old. I planned a huge birthday party. Then February hit. And I think everything really started to spiral down on Valentine's Day. My sister came over with her partner to wish us a happy Valentine's Day. My dog Pepper got really excited, and before we knew it, she collapsed on the floor and died of heart failure with my hands on her chest and my family surrounding her. That spiraled me into a deep state of debilitating grief. I have to actually say it was probably equivalent to when my father passed away. It hit me really hard. 2 weeks after that was my big bash 50th birthday party. So we planned this huge birthday party, dance party, all the things. All my friends came, and that happened just right before literally the first COVID case hit Portland. So literally, if my birthday would have been on that following weekend, it would have been canceled, because shortly after that, we went into the lockdown, the shutdown, all of us going, what is going on? What is this Groundhog's Day reality that we're living in? And I'll never forget my husband, Larry, saying to me, this is going to be hard on a lot of relationships. And I said to him, well, not ours. We're going to be just fine. Well, only a few months later, I was moving out. And our relationship very quickly began to unravel. And raise your hand if you've read Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Elizabeth Gilbert explained, she has this term of your bathroom floor moment. And if everybody can relate to that, I'm sure we've all had our bathroom floor moments. That actually then became my next 2 years. It was sort of an ongoing bathroom floor moment. I moved out, and only a few months later, Larry and I were talking about a divorce. and which is not what I really expected to happen. And my therapist said to me once, this was many years ago, that we're all just one person away from a nervous breakdown. And as best as can describe, the last 2 years for me have pretty much been that. They've been a nervous breakdown. On a daily basis, my anxiety levels were shooting past a 10. The cortisol was coursing through my body to such a degree that I wasn't able to sleep at night. And I would lay at night with racing thoughts. And I would wake up in the morning feeling like so hungover, and like my nervous system was so strung out that I would be shaking. I would get up and it would be hard to eat because I would feel nauseous. And it was just basically really difficult to function. I felt like I had nothing to give anybody. I just literally was so like racked with anxiety. I had no appetite. It was really difficult for me to eat. And I just really felt like my life became this whole mess. I also entered into another relationship that was not very healthy and had a lot of dysfunction to that. So that was also very anxiety producing. And I just was sort of in that dark night of the soul period. I also, upon turning 50, I also hit menopause. So I had a lot of crazy hormones and the shift of hormones and that change in my body. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people really talk about, but I literally just feel like I kind of went crazy. So my divorce happened, and I then decided to plan my Eat, Pray, Love trip. And I decided to go to Europe for 2 months. Luckily, thank goodness for me, before I went to Europe, we had our doTERRA convention, and we all returned to Salt Lake City after being away and not going live for 2 years. So we all went back there. And actually, convention was really difficult for me because of the state of my nervous system. I actually got really sick when I was there. I had a horrible migraine when I was there. That kept me in bed all day. I was very overstimulated by the crowds, and I was really challenged. But the thing that happened at convention is they released the MetaPWR line. And I want to share with all of you what that's done for me. I started taking it in October, what it's done for me since then, because it's been deeply transformational. And I also have to admit that I was sent a packet of the collagen, the MetaPWR collagen, before convention, and I didn't pay that much attention to it. I gave a lot of it away. I wanted to be generous with it. I wanted to sample with it. I kind of took it erratically. I didn't have any big aha moment with it. And I thought, oh, it's another doTERRA product. But then when I went to convention and I really started to learn about the science and what was behind it and the ingredients in it, I said, okay, I'm going to take this completely seriously, and I'm going to commit to taking this every day. So the first thing I want to share is that, so I went on a 2 months to Europe. I went to Italy, started in Italy, then I went to Greece, and then I worked on a dog rescue for a week in Spain, and then I went to Switzerland, and I've just been home now for about a month. The first thing about European travel is that I typically get hit with such horrific jet lag that is actually debilitating for me. Can anybody relate to that? European travel, that kind of long travel, is really, really hard. Another thing that I want to mention too is, for those of you that don't know my story, is that I had Lyme disease, and that was something that went into remission because of, really, I'm going to say this out loud, because of the support of the essential oils. And again, I have a whole webinar about that. But because of the amount of stress that I was under, I was really worried about that Lyme disease coming back up to the surface. And even though I've been in remission, I was becoming a prime candidate to have that explode on me again. And so that was very nerve-wracking. And so anyway, back to the travel. So I started taking the MetaPWR with traveling, and I immediately started to notice an improvement in my energy and also in my mental cognition. I was suffering pretty intense anxiety and depression. And I was even starting to get suicidal ideations again. And I just was really struggling with my mental health. And I was really starting to feel kind of an overall sense of calm from taking the MetaPWR. Again, it helped me with my jet lag. It also helped me begin to restore my sleep patterns. When we are living under a state of heightened stress, the reason why we then can't sleep is because we have massive amounts of cortisol going through our system. And so if you've ever experienced those racing thoughts, or where you're so exhausted, all you want to do is sleep, but then you lie down to sleep and you just lie there and your mind is racing. Can anybody relate to that? That is because of the amount of stress hormones going through our system. As human beings, we are not designed to withstand that kind of stress. That kind of stress really can be the beginning of bigger disease processes and health issues in our body. And from taking the MetaPWR, I really began to feel a decrease in those stress levels and a more balancing in my mental state. Now, of course, I have to say that I was very excited because being in menopause, I've also had that little extra weight around my belly. They call it minnow belly. And whatever you do, it's really difficult to get to get rid of that little extra, fluff on your belly. And when I was in Italy eating a lot of pasta, I began to experience my belly beginning to shrink a little bit. And I'm not going to admit not going to lie that actually was exciting for me to feel my stomach actually, getting a little thinner while I was enjoying lots of pasta in Italy. But really, more importantly than, I really want to stress that MetaPWR is not about weight loss. However, it can be a side benefit because it helps your body reduce inflammation. And yes, as excited as I was to have my belly flatten, what I was more excited about was the fact that I was able to start sleeping, that my mental health was starting to feel more balanced, that I was feeling like literally a healing of my nervous system. Going through that much stress over that prolonged period of time really created so much anxiety and stress in my nervous system that I would feel like I would constantly be distracted, and it would be very difficult for me to be really present in every moment with whatever person I was with or whatever I was doing, because I was so stressing out about my past or stressing out about my future. And it really helped me actually begin to come into the present moment. And so I want to just take a moment. So let me just see, I have some notes on kind of all the benefits. I want to just make sure that I went through that. So I mentioned my mental focus improved, the jet lag recovery was amazing, better sleep, mental emotional health stabilized, healing of my nervous system. Oh, also really important, it helped me reconnect with my joy and ultimately my inner sense of purpose and peace. And also has really helped me connect with my inner passion and enthusiasm for life. And then also it's helped me move through a state of deep grief and, losing my marriage and kind of, I think, setting the stage for me to be able to move on and take the next steps in life. So that's ultimately what the MetaPWR has helped me with. And I want to take a moment to just review. I know that we're getting close on time, but for any of you, are you all familiar with MetaPWR? Have you all used it? Because some of you may have not, but will you just raise your hand really quick if you haven't? I just wanted to review quickly how I'm using it. Would that be helpful for you? So there's 3 different products. There is this packet, which is the MetaPWR Advantage, and it is a combination of collagen plus NMN, and that helps create what is called NAD plus in our body, which is like the energy in our cells. We would not survive if we did not have NAD plus in our body. And this is something that as we age, it greatly decreases. And so I take this in a packet, I open it up, put it in some water, and I have it first thing in the morning. Now, I have to admit, when I was on the dog rescue, I was walking 22,000 steps a day and had full manual labor, which I have not done in a really long time. So if you're doing anything extra stressful in your life or you need extra endurance, I was actually taking 2 packets a day. I was taking one in the morning and I was taking one in the afternoon. You put it in water, you stir it. There are no emulsifiers in it. So you just stir it, cold water, drink it. I do it first thing when I wake up. And then I wait, a little while before I have my morning beverage. There's also then the MetaPWR oil. This is a blend of grapefruit, cinnamon, ginger, lemon, and ginger. Oh, I said that already. Did I get them all? Cinnamon, grapefruit, lemon, ginger, grapefruit, you got it all. And it comes in these different formulations. And some people find this confusing. So I'm going to show them all to you. Okay, so there's a gum, there's the beadlet, there's a straight oil, and there's a gel cap. They are all the same. They're all the essential oil. doTERRA has just given us different delivery methods. My favorite are the oil, which I put directly under my tongue, and the gel caps, which I take 3 times a day. But the cool thing is when I was traveling, I had the beadlets in my purse. I had the gum in my purse. I had the oil in my purse. I keep the gel caps actually in my purse as well. And I'm going to show you what I do with them because I mix them in with the MetaPWR Assist, which is what you take before your heaviest carb meal. And what this does is it helps level out your glucose levels. Did you know that every time your blood sugar spikes, you're actually creating oxidative stress in your body, and that ages you? So the more that we can level out our glucose levels, the healthier we are going to be. Metabolically, we are actually in a massive crisis in our country. And only 1 out of 13 people, 13 out of 14 people are metabolically compromised. And so many of us are actually on our way to becoming diabetic, and we don't want that. And we can actually do something about that. So if you take one of these, this product has mulberry and berbeine in it. It's going to help level out your blood sugar. And then the oil, I'm going to go back to that for a moment. I take this throughout the day. You can actually take up to 25 drops a day. This actually has been shown to help reduce fat cells, to shrink the size of fat cells in your body. It also is going to help level out your blood sugars, and it's also going to help with cravings. So by using the system throughout the day, you will begin to see remarkable results. So if you have not tried MetaPWR, I wholeheartedly, this is the product that I'm literally standing on the rooftops and screaming to everybody about because I feel so incredibly passionate about it. doTERRA's, is anybody opted in for the Power of You, the program that's going on, the Empowered You program, or the Power to Be? So they have this theme called the Power to Be. And that might mean something different for each of you, right? The power to be what? Put some things in the chat of the power to be love, the power to be free, the power to be healthy. Whatever it is for you, I'd love to hear some of that in the chat. But what I believe is that ultimately all of us want to be the very best versions of ourselves, because when we are, we can then go out and serve the world with whatever our own unique gifts are. And if you look at we're talking this month about the mind, body, spirit connection. Our body is our temple, right? And so we've got to take care of our body. Our body, our digestive system affects the mind. right? So if our digestive system is out of balance, it can easily create a lot of imbalances in our mental health and our emotional health. All of that connects to the spirit. It is all connected. So I say, literally without any seed of doubt, that the MetaPWR is helping me align my mind, my body, and my spirit, which helps reinvigorate my passion and it's like filling my cup, so I can then go back out into the world and be of service and be my very best self. And that is what I believe that MetaPWR can do for us by really helping us heal on so many levels. So I know there's just a few minutes left, and I want to open the call to Josie or questions or whoever else would like to share. And thank you all so much for listening.
Before you go, Josie, there are questions in the chat. So just
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to.
Okay, great.
Between Aisha can answer it and you, I love that Isabella's brought up some great questions that are common for some people, the variances and differences for people, especially just with the MetaPWR Advantage, with the powder. And I know, Aisha, I haven't listened to it yet. You were speaking that Dr. Osgood-Thorpe recently was talking in a video about the differences. She was asking one about what is it, why would you take 2 packets versus 1? But then he was speaking to the idea of some people are having some fatigue and taking it at night. And I don't know if you watched the video. Did he talk more into the what and why of the taking it at night? I have my theories.
Well, what he said, first of all, there is a video by Dr. O, and it was so good. It was like a fireside chat. It wasn't a, PowerPoint presentation. It was just him sharing his personal experience. I highly recommend listening to it. I have posted it in the Essential Wellness group. Maybe we can send it out in the notes on this call. But he did mention that some people feel energized from taking the Advantage, which I do. And he also said that some people will actually feel tired from taking the Advantage. If you are one that feels tired, it does not mean that it's not working. It does not mean it's not for you. He just says simply take it before you go to bed at night. And so I think it's just part of the regulation of the system. He did not I don't remember exactly. I think he mentioned it a little bit, but Josie, maybe you can give more from your doctor's perspective. And then as far as taking 2 packets a day, he is actually training for a marathon. And so he is taking it 2 a day because he is really needing a lot of extra endurance. And that's how I felt when I was traveling. I don't normally walk 22,000 steps a day and work manual labor from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed. So that was a lot for me. So I felt like I really needed that extra boost while I was taking it, or while I was during that week. I'm not taking it twice a day otherwise, but if you're in a period in your life where you're really needing some extra support, or you're training for something, or you need extra endurance, then that can be a really good time to take 2 a day. And what are your thoughts on that, Jose?
Yeah, it's a metabolic need. So that can happen for, if you're a more extreme athletic situations. It could be that you're trying to really put your body through more extreme, like a serious weight loss situation, like you're working your pathways and your detox and that's a more extreme situation. It also could be that you have a condition. Dr. Louise Rose spoke about that a couple of weeks ago on her personal situation. And so she's already spoken about it, where she has had an autoimmune condition and she has been having to take some medications, and she had gone off of them for the pain, prednisone in particular, and started taking the MetaPWR and was feeling great. But then she was wondering if she would have to go back. She had suspended taking her prednisone, which she usually takes, which is not easy to go off of. And she was able to stay off of it for a longer period of time and was feeling really good, but then felt the inflammation and pain coming. And we said, why don't you try taking 2? And she went up in her dose to 2 packets of the Advantage and has not yet had to go on the more extreme medications for her pain and inflammation. So she's been keeping that at bay with the 2 doses of the MetaPWR. So you could sort of see in different areas. I don't think we know all the reasons. My suspect about the evening and tiredness, I myself have been someone who has been really tired with the MetaPWR. I think it has to, when you think about what it's doing, it's serious mitochondrial rebuilding. It's working at that deep intercellular mitochondrial energy level in our cells. And so depending on your gene SNPs, on your pathways where genetically you might have some issues going on, there could be some clearance problems. There could be some buildup, there's all different reasons as to why you could be feeling that as you're kind of supporting your body back up in a way, versus having, like Ariana was saying, she feels a lot of energy, right, Ari, from it. So yeah, that is not a reason to stop. So we, in my family, same with my partner, we take it about an hour after dinner. So that idea, that's where I've rested upon for right now. I don't think it's going to stay there. I think I'm going to move to the morning and it's going to shift. So don't get stuck in your thing. Always be responsive to what's going on. But for right now, kind of digesting dinner, letting that have a little bit of digestion and going down. But then I don't want to be eating and having that protein too late in the evening. So then that I've settled on that kind of hour after dinner mark for having it, because you want to have it away from other food, and allow it to just come into your system on its own with some cool cold water. And I would say it definitely helps with sleep when you take it there on the evening end. So that's the added Benny. It helps a lot of people when they're taking it in the morning with their sleep, but I would say it's extra sleep help. Like, yeah.
I feel like it's the great balancer. It's, it's such a, brings us back to a state of homeostasis and where we need to be.
Which is such a good point, Ariana, because that's what the oils do. And that's what our products do, is we're all going to need something a little bit different for them, right? We're all bio-individual. So they're going to help bring us into balance in the ways that we need to come into balance. And sometimes it can feel like we're going a little out of balance before we come into balance, because it's helping the body shed. And oftentimes when you're healing, especially if you have candida overgrowth or if you have any kind of bacterial load in your system, you can actually start to feel a little bit worse before you feel better. So drinking extra water, really your hydration is so important. These pillars of sleep, nutrition, exercise, water, we hear that over and over and over again, but it is really critical for our overall health and wellness. And Josie, there's a question here about the inside effect of caffeine with MetaPWR. I'm going to let you speak to that. Do you have any opinions on having your morning coffee after your MetaPWR? Oh, she's on a call.
I can speak to it.
Okay.
Oh, and Ariana. So I've looked around at this a bit, and what I've come to is it actually works well with caffeine. You don't mix it. It's not like a collagen that you can mix in your coffee. So what I've landed on is I wake up in the morning. I'm one of those people who gets a lot of energy on it. I actually can't take it at night. Advantage at night for me. I did it last night. It wasn't even at night. It was like afternoon. And I had a lot of energy and I woke up at 5 a.m. and was like wide awake. So anyways, I take my Advantage first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And about 30 minutes later, I have a cup of coffee, and I also do intermittent fasting. So my cup of coffee does not have sugar or anything in it that's going to spike my blood glucose. So that would be something to really consider there, is if you're a morning coffee drinker, but you're trying to balance your blood sugar, it might be time to let go of the cream and honey and sugar stuff. But a lot of the people who are super in, and this kind of goes into Soraya's question about where she can find research and science on some of this stuff. a lot of people who are in the whole like life hacking, lifespan world, like Dr. David Sinclair and Andrew Huberman, they do intermittent fasting, and a lot of them use caffeine to manage their fast in the morning, and a lot of them take the NMN as well. So I haven't found like anything super concrete yet. If anyone has, please let me know, but I'm not afraid to take my Advantage and then have a cup of coffee about a half an hour later.
And then I'll just add, as a tea drinker, I almost have the same schedule as Arin. I like the MetaPWR in a small glass with an ice cube. So different people have different relationships to taste. So that's the way it tastes the best for me. And then I'm a tea drinker, so I drink green tea, and it works lovely for that as well. I feel really good about it. I also feel that it helps regulate my appetite in a more healthy way, where I am a person that when I get stressed out, I don't eat, and it's really hard on my whole system. And so, you know, we can fluctuate either way to overeat or undereat, but I feel that this product really reminds me to eat when I need to eat and to choose healthier foods. And so I will actually be more likely to have breakfast, which is a healthy choice for me, when I take my MetaPWR and then drink my tea. If I only drink caffeine, often I will be apt to skip eating, and then I'll hit that blood sugar crash when I'm really, really hungry, which we know causes enormous stress into the system.
I'd like to plant a seed for a future one of our calls, because this intersection that we're talking about with MetaPWR and some of the biohacking, what always comes in is this intermittent fasting, and you keep hearing about intermittent fasting and the blood glucose and all of these things. And I think we need a discussion on that, everyone, because Dr. Mika Carew and I talk about this a lot. And one of the things we see as doctors and energy workers and physicians is that if you have any type of metabolic disorder, if you have a higher BMI, if you have any kind of prediabetes, if you have any metabolic dysregulation like Syndrome X, or if you're an apple in your body type, and tends towards more women, if you're over 40, if you're in any of those categories, which is a lot of visionary leaders, intermittent fasting is not always your friend. And so that's something we have to really address and talk about. So I just want to lay that gauntlet down, just like Ariana said, breakfast really serves her. Dr. Mika is really clear about that with so many of her patients and herself and her people, is that you can do a shortened fast, but breakfast is actually very important for people in all those categories I talk to. And that if they go and try and do this kind of biohacking that you actually see a lot of men talking about, that with intermittent fasting and do the coffee thing and bypass breakfast and go into 10, 11, 12, that's going to set you back until you're in a place, and you might not get into that kind of space metabolically if you're over 40, if you come from different heritages, if lots of different things. So I just wanted to say that caveat, that there's a lot of intermittent fasting talking, and it's not for everybody, and it's not the most healthy thing for everybody. And so I don't want to confuse that always with MetaPWR. And I bet that brings up a lot of questions. So we're going to plant the seed. We got to move on, but we need to talk about this more. So come back and we'll talk about it.
Well, before we go on, I would like to say that I am an over 40 person who does intermittent fasting, and I have really loved, I'll put it in the notes, a woman named Dr. Mindy Pelz. She wrote a book called Fast Like a Girl, and she does speak to everything Dr. Josie's speaking about on how you would want to fast as a menstruating woman and as a woman in menopause. But yes, we could have a great discussion about this. There's lots of people who have good things to say, so we'll put it on the docket. Did you want to add something, Kate, before we go on?
I wanted to just thank Aisha like, it's so nice to hear from you because I know how much you love Slow and Sassy. And so I was really curious to hear your story and then just like seeing some changes in your life. It's just so nice to hear you talk about it, and you sound so great. Like you're able to talk about it like beginning, middle, end, like you sound great. And that's a lot that you went through. So it's like a testament to your healing and like your mental health, and just being honest about the lows that you got to, and then how you're sharing about it now. It's so inspiring, and I'm so happy for you. And thank you for sharing with us. It was like, I'm so glad I jumped on today because I've been waiting to hear from you about the MetaPWR specifically, and like nice to hear life updates. And
Thank you.
oh my gosh, so juicy. And then I also wanted to say, when I first got started with doTERRA, I actually like turned away from oils for many years because I heard lavender energizes you and it calms you. And I was like, that's just too confusing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I need it to do one thing. And then I had a mindset shift through the help of Arin's coaching that like, it's holistic, like it's adaptogen, you know, and like what we're talking about with health and everything, fasting, for example, how MetaPWR works on our metabolism so differently. Metabolism is defined as all the chemical reactions in our body. So it's like going to be different for everybody. And I just approach the oils, and everyone's gonna have a different experience. So great that we're talking about all the different like body types and ages, and taking it all into consideration. It's so brilliant. There's no right one answer, but just the discussion is so helpful. So people can kind of like place themselves in it and understand how it works. And then it might work this month, and the next month, like Josie was saying, she'll take it maybe at a different time of day because it'll shift for her. So looking at the body like that makes so much more sense than just like everyone needs to fast at this time and then like take it in the morning. Like, of course, it's going to be a different sort of type of conversation. So yeah, happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Kate. So we're going to wrap up this section and move into sharing MetaPWR. But before we do, just a reminder that I'm sure this leaves you going, well, I want to learn more. So how are all the places, where are all the places you can learn more? The Power to Be Challenge is a course. And that's a really good place to go. But doTERRA also has a MetaPWR course that you can go and take for free on their Teachable site. And then if you're not already in the Wellness Simplified group, that is a great place for you to learn, but especially for your friends to learn and for new people to learn. And then if you want to dig more into why like NMN and why berberine, I would really recommend that you listen to this podcast that I will put in the show notes with Andrew Huberman on his podcast, the Huberman Lab, with Dr. David Sinclair. They talk about NMN and berberine and glucose balance. It's a great one. But Dr. David Sinclair is someone to research and look into because he is Harvard researcher, and he really is the one kind of pushing forward the research on NMN. So there's so much to dive into. It's so exciting. When it first came out, I super got my geek glasses on and had
Arin,
a great time with it.
I just want to bring to your attention that on the Visionary Leaders Facebook page, under featured posts, there is a thing that says resources, and there's all of the doTERRA resources there. In fact, it'd be great. I'll go add the Dr. O presentation to that as well. And we'll leave that at the top of the page. So if you want to know like, oh, where's that MetaPWR course? Oh, there's the link. Oh, where's the class to teach, or where's this? All of those links are there. And if there's any links we should add, just bring it to my attention and I'll add it to the doc, because we know there's a lot of different information. And so I brought it all together there for you so you can go reference it whenever needed.
Yes. Okay. So who has felt the desire to share this with family and friends and bring it into your business? Raise your hand if you felt the desire to do that. Now, be honest, who has felt unsure about sharing MetaPWR? Has anybody had that? I have, unsure. Put it in the chat what's come up for you around being unsure. So the MetaPWR is such an amazing product for our health, but this month we're also talking about resetting our business. And the MetaPWR is an excellent product to help you reset your business. First of all, because of the obvious, it's something new, right? And for people who have been ordering oils for a while, you might hear things like, I have so many oils, I don't need any more oils, which I never understand, but people still say that. I'm like, if you don't know what to do with your oils, send them over here. I can use them. But sometimes our customer base needs something new, something additional. It's also a really powerful product for a reset because it's effective. So when you have a product in the direct selling world that produces a result most people have a result in 2 weeks with this product. They feel something, they see something, there's a change. If somebody goes and gets their eyesight checked out, usually their doctor's like, wow, your eyesight has improved. People start to see physical changes. If you take before and after pictures, take before and after pictures. You don't have to share them. Take them for yourself. Because when you look at the before and after pictures, you're like, oh, wow, there really was a change. I didn't realize that was going to happen. So in network marketing, when you have a product like that, that so obviously gives changes, it's a much easier cognitive pathway for someone to go, oh, I want that, I need that. Versus when you have a product that, I love our essential oils so much, and people do have like a visceral response to the essential oils, but sometimes it can be hard to really explain to someone like, oh, what's going to happen when I bring a home essentials kit in? We know what's going to happen, but for them to actually make that connection, sometimes people are like, oh, well, it's just spa material. I'm going to use Kate, for example. When Kate first enrolled, for a long time, you thought that they were mostly smells. I remember you would call them like the aromas or something. And that happens, it happens with people. They don't quite understand that it's medicine. But when you have a product like MetaPWR, you can say, oh, you're struggling with energy, you're struggling with sleep. Oh, you would like to lose a little bit of weight around your belly. Oh, you want less joint pain. Here's this experience that all these other people have had. And then it's packaged in this nice, simple kit for $180. It's an easy decision for people. Then it's a consumable product, meaning if you're on MetaPWR and you like the way that you feel, you're most likely going to reorder it every month. Now, when people reorder it every month, it's not always a full 100 PV. So it is a great segue into, well, let's look at the other things that we can bring into your life to improve your life. So for all of these reasons, it's such a great insert of vitality into your business. You might be seeing people online sharing before and after pictures that have to do with weight loss. You don't have to do it that way. You can, 100%. Those pictures are really powerful. That works. But if that's not your branding or it's not what you want to talk about, you don't have to share that at all. You can actually pick whatever your passion is around the metabolic health and share that. In fact, it's better, especially if you're sharing on social media, to be on repeat, to repeat yourself over and over again. So you would pick one area, like Aisha might pick going through a divorce. And it's like all she talks about is what it was like going through a divorce, what she experienced going through a divorce. And then the MetaPWR is this tool she used that helped her. So you could pick being a grandma and having more mobility. You could be a beauty person and you could just talk about how it improved your skin. So I'm just pointing out that just because you see people sharing weight loss pictures, you don't have to do that at all. It is also a very easy product to sell through the social selling model, which we have a total system for you. You can plug into it. But if you don't want to sell that way, you don't have to. It's also a great product to share in the traditional class model. In fact, there's this really cool device that Justin Harrison recommended. I purchased it, and it's kind of like the iTovi, but for MetaPWR. It's a smart scale. It's about $60 off of Amazon, And you can actually take it with you to your classes and your one-to-ones and give somebody a reading. So they step on the scale, they hold a little thing in their hands, and then they get a readout. And the readout tells them their metabolic age. It tells them their muscle mass, their fat ratios. It tells them how hydrated they are. It gives them like this whole health stat. And it also tells them exercises they could do. If they need to lose weight, it'll give them an idea of how much weight they need to lose. And so you could actually do it that way, where you have metabolic classes or metabolic workshops or just metabolic mixers, and you kind of talk about your health journey and you let people stand on the scale. In the time that we have left on this call, I would like to focus on how you would share MetaPWR in a social selling environment using our Wellness Simplified group. And of course, if there's requests, we can do additional trainings on MetaPWR classes and MetaPWR workshops. Just checking the chat to see if there's anything I want to attend to. So for many, I kind of have to give you the backstory here. For many years, I've had a frustration with doTERRA. And it is that I am very interested in building on social media. And I've been making content on social media for as long as I've been in doTERRA. It's been a great aspect of my business. And I've mixed social media with in-person networking and in-person classes. I've gone to many trainings for network marketing and for social selling. And I have known that if only we had a product that was a simple product that produced tangible results that I could show in before and after pictures, that I would be able to create a lot more momentum on social media. So when MetaPWR came out, my friend Amanda Pitt and I started chatting because we were so excited because we've wanted something like this for so long. And she immediately made a video that is very short. It's 7 minutes long, like teaches people what MetaPWR is, like the first entry point. And I immediately went to Eliza Yoshida and Kayla Monson, and we created a Facebook group. And so the way that you can use this Facebook group, if you choose to, is the Facebook group is populated with posts every day. It's Aisha Harley's this week. So every post is by Aisha, and the posts are designed to be little bits of education, testimonies, stuff about MetaPWR for your lead, for your person who you've been chatting with, or maybe saw a post on social media and they've expressed an interest in MetaPWR. You can add them to the group, tag them in that very short video, and then follow up with them. What my experience has been, and I want to hear Aisha's experience, is I will share in my Instagram and Facebook stories little bits about MetaPWR before and after pictures. I'll share my own journey with MetaPWR, and people will write me and say, what's this MetaPWR? Well, tell me about this. What is this thing you're using? And I will say, oh, it's so awesome. Would it be okay if I tagged you in a 7-minute video in a Facebook group? You can watch it and then we can talk about it. And they most always say yes. And then I add them to the group. And I had, in the first 2 months, 13 people go and basically enroll themselves after watching the video. And then get on the MetaPWR. And then you know what happens? They get on the MetaPWR and they get on LRP because they want more MetaPWR. So the Wellness Simplified group has been so great for me to bring it into my business. And the way that I'm doing it, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't have MetaPWR content on my feed, like my grid. You don't see MetaPWR content there. Maybe a few months ago, I did a few posts, but I've learned better since then. My MetaPWR content is in my stories. So it's in my stories that people see it. And then they either engage with my story or send me a message, and then I add them to the group, tag them in the video, follow up with them, give them my link generator, and they usually enroll. What's extra cool is Amanda has also made a video called I Have My MetaPWR, Now What? So basically how to take the MetaPWR, frequently asked questions. She has a video called setting up your loyalty rewards order to get your MetaPWR. She has a video called Get Your MetaPWR for Free. It's basically a business opportunity video. They're all super short. They're all in the Wellness Simplified group. And she just came out with an LLV video, and she's got an essential oil video. So that's all going to be updated in the Wellness Simplified group. So it becomes this one-stop shop for you to go and add your leads, tag them in whatever video they need to watch at the given time, and follow up with them. And by the way, if you're saying, well, my people aren't on Facebook or I'm not on Facebook, all these videos are on hellovisionary.life on a page for you called MetaPWR, designed for you to just send that page to your lead and then follow up with them, send them your link generator. It becomes an amazing and easy way to share MetaPWR. So I want to pass it over to Aisha to hear her experience using the Wellness Simplified group and the videos, and then we can answer any questions you might have.
Yes, 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 to all of that. What I want to say is, I know these last few years, again, for all of us have been rough. And a lot of us have lost our motivation, our passion. We have seen a downturn in our businesses. And we've all been wondering like, oh boy, are we on a sinking ship here? Well, I am here to tell you that MetaPWR is the way to revive your business. If you really want to get things moving again, get on the MetaPWR train. And with that, if you have not experienced it yourself, because you can't go out and sell and share and talk about something that you don't have personal experience with. So the first step is to really commit to taking it and to do the measurements, the scale that I put a link for it in Amazon. It's not very much money, and it gives you a ton of information, and it gives you what's really helpful about it is it's nice to know what's going on the inside of your body, not just looking at a scale and base off what the scale says. So taking the photos, the measurements, doing all the things. What I also want to share is I'm going into my 13th year of doTERRA. I have friends and family that know that I've been selling essential oils now for a long time. And we all have those people in our life that have had no interest, and that's totally okay. Well, guess what? Those people that have had no interest in the essential oils are buying MetaPWR from me. That's what's been really cool is I have been sharing other people's testimonials also in my Instagram stories. I am talking about MetaPWR a bit on my Instagram page. I also want you all to know I lost my entire Instagram page. It was hacked. I had a good following. I lost everything. So I am starting over. So if you are new to social media, please don't think, oh, well, Aisha has X amount of followers, because I don't. I am starting all over. And I'm sharing MetaPWR in my stories. I'm doing just what Arin said. I'm then adding people to the group, or if they don't want to be added them to the group, I'm sending them the testimonial video. And I haven't been enrolling people for a long time. And when I was in Europe, I started enrolling more people that I've enrolled in the last several years. And it's reinvigorated me. It's helped me feel more passionate about my business again. It's really invigorating that excitement. And most of all, it's because I am truly, as I've shared with you, I am so passionate about this product and what it does for people that I want to stand on the rooftops and scream about it, because you know what? I don't care anymore what people think about that, because they need it. So I just want to encourage all of you to share in whatever way is comfortable for you to do so, and maybe get a little bit outside of your comfort zone if you're being too shy about it. But it really is a product that can elevate your life and your business to the next level. So we just have like a minute left. So are there any questions or anything else that we want to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, thanks, Aisha, for sharing that. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, so the other resource I'm going to give you in the show notes is I've been putting a Google Drive together with screenshots of testimonies that you can use in your stories. So if you're like, well, where do I get these testimonies? You can grab them from the Wellness Simplified group or this Google Drive. There's also Facebook groups with testimonies. And then the other thing is I ran a social selling challenge a few months ago, and I kept it up as a Facebook group. So if you are feeling like, oh, I kind of want to get into using my social media to share MetaPWR, you can go into that Facebook group, and I'll put it in the podcast notes, and you can take yourself through it. Really short videos, but it'll help you kind of get sharing. Did see a Q&A here. Okay, great. Just checking in with the chat. Okay, so that'll bring us to a close, and we will see you next week. Ariana will be sharing with her team all the wonderful benefits of Zendocrine oil. So it's our oils A to Z call, and we hope to see you then. Bye,
Bye, everyone.